that you guys have dealt with a lot of injuries, players stepping up. Darius still out here busting his butt off, but is there a level of responsibility at some point that becomes too much, or that you expect too much, or is it just he's got to give everything he has right now?
That's it. And it's his personality and makeup where he just continues to try to take on challenges. I think that's the star quality, that's in him, is, the belief that he can, and we've had some very interesting conversations, and he wants the ball in his hands, no matter the circumstances, who's on the floor with him. He wants the ball in his hands, and he believes he can help us get it done when it is.
So in those conversations, it sounds like he wants all of that responsibility.
Oh, he's looking for all the action. Yeah, he's not ducking any of it.
Hey, one of the themes of this season has kind of felt like asking role players to have to step up and go above and beyond, really just because of the unexpected amount of injuries. The guy you haven't talked too much about is Moses. What have you felt like he has given you, and what can you realistically, expect of him when he's had such a short period of time with you guys?
He has a high level motor, and when you mix that size and the motor that he has, it can be productive. He's willing to do whatever we've asked him to do. He's studying, a ton of film to learn, our system and trying to figure out how to play with his teammates. But we're going to need him, obviously, with all these guys down. And, he can protect the rim on the defensive end of the floor. He rebounds it well. He runs. He can bring an energy to us that can give us a spark.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
So obviously, a big part of your identity has been defense, and Jared and Evan are at the center of that. In any way down the stretch here, do you have to reshape who you guys are to get through this?
I don't think, I don't think you can, to be honest with you. We still have to maintain our principles. Obviously, we can make small adjustments within that, but, there's just not enough time. You're looking at a stretch here where you've got 4 games, in the next, 5 nights, and, there's not a ton of practice time and shoot around time and all those things. So you have to bank on, your principles and the guys that are here understanding how they still work together. Because, now if you're trying to change the responsibility of, 9 guys or 10 guys, however many guys we have left, now they're learning something new and then they become hesitant. So we just got to bank on it. And then, guys got to just step up and take one-on-one challenges, because at the end of the day, that's where it all started.
And then Kevin Love was named a finalist for Teammate of the Year earlier today. And if we were having this conversation last year, the year before, it probably wouldn't be the case, but it is this year. What has made him such a great teammate this year to the guys?
I said it before, the sacrifice that he made at the beginning of the season, and how he handled it and how he carried himself throughout the entire year. He's a guy who, has truly supportive of, the guy who he had to pass the torch on to. And we've all seen in sports that's not always the case. He's tried to help those guys be as good as they possibly can. And, he does not think about himself as he's out there. He's playing with a joy where he's celebrating his teammates' successes. And you can see it in his performance, right? It allows him to play at a high level as well. But, not too many people, at his level are willing to sacrifice the way that he has for such a long period of time.
Throughout last year, Kevin was open about his childish outbursts. He called them that. Did you have to have any kinds of conversations with him coming into this year about those kinds of things, given such a young team around him?
Yeah, and it wasn't something that was like a moment or a need. It's part of our communication all the time. Kevin and I, we talked all summer. We talked, he and I have conversations, almost every day, and we're always on the same page. And so he knows, what's needed of him, and what this team needs from him. And again, he has to be the adult in the room. because of obviously the youth that we have here. But, so it's not like something that just stood out. It's just, these are expectations of you and what this group needs, and he's fulfilled it.
Thank you.
Kelsey Rossi, Athletic. JB, what do you like about this small ball group, or what do you hope to see out of the small ball group that kind of can help you through this stretch?
I think they play with a tenacity. Like when you put Isaac and Lamar on the floor together, they're, really, really scrappy. We're fast. The floor can be open. We can play in the early part of the clock. They're switchable partners, so you can keep guys in front of you and not get into so many rotations. But if you need to rotate, you can. We play with enough shooting, and playmaking out there because you got it at multiple spots. You think about like what Dylan brings when he's running and cutting and flying and getting defensive rebounds. I think that's something that shouldn't go unnoticed. Like when you play small, typically you struggle to defensive rebound. And then when you've got a guy like Dylan who's flying around and rebounding for you, it allows you to get away with it.
Do you need something like, I guess, how does this change like Lowry or Kevin's, not their role necessarily, but what they do on the floor at the 4 or the 5, wherever they are, because, they are kind of the only bigs on the floor at the moment?
Yeah, they have to do more old school, typical big guy things. Obviously their pick and roll coverages, Lowry, who is more so a popper in pick and roll because of the floor, the way it's spaced, he's got to become more of a roller and those types of things. So there's some subtle things that they have to do, but we just need them to compete their asses off and give us what they got.
Thank you.
Tom Withers, AP. Austin said he's available. I didn't check with Campy. Campy, you good too?
Nothing good can happen. Nothing good.
Hey, what's the plan with Evan over the next couple of days? Is he in a walking boot, completely off of it? What's kind of the rehab look like over the next couple of days?
He is not in a boot. He's walking. I saw him this morning in the weight room, and he was walking around. So obviously they'll treat him. And I'm not sure yet. I have to figure out. I haven't talked to the guys about whether or not he's coming on the trip. I would assume not. He is. He's not, right? Okay. So he'll be here. We've got staff staying back here with him that'll work on his ankle and make sure he's getting better.
Does this sound like it's bad to have him out at all, but are you kind of relieved that it doesn't seem to be anything serious and this could be short term?
Yeah, the sooner we get him back on the floor, the better. And again, for his sake, like you don't ever want to see a kid take injuries that, are long lasting and impact him at a point where like he wants to play, and he wants to be a part of what we got going on.
Marlon Ragnar, Akron Beacon Journal. Just one, you said you didn't have much time to, practice with the small ball guys, but did you work out anything this morning and were they excited about it?
Yeah. They just want to get on the floor. So, obviously we had time and shoot around today, and we work on our offensive breakdowns, during shoot around and kind of put guys in the right spaces, put them up against, the defense that they're going to see that night. So we had a little bit of time to implement some stuff.
I was just thinking Stevens and Okoro might be kind of fired up to.
Yeah, well, that's how Lamar is every day.
Yeah. Jeff Phelps, Valley Sports. When Moses was with the Thunder last year, JB, he had some really big games, big numbers, and played a lot. What did you see at that time that you would like to see out of him now?
The effort that he plays with, his ability to impact the game without needing the ball in his hands, as a rim roller, as an offensive rebounder, defensively as a rim protector, a paint protector, and a defensive rebounder. I think if he focuses on those things, he can have a big impact for us.
Daryl Lander, 92 fan. Just kind of curious from a coaching standpoint, you've taken so many blows here with these injuries. You need these games going down the stretch as well, trying to win them. How do you keep the overwhelming feeling from creeping into the team, especially now that you've lost Evan for a couple of games here?
It's a test of care that I think our guys have passed time and time again, because when you're put in, these situations, you've got two choices. You either fight or you quit. And our guys don't quit. we've been down before, and no matter the result or circumstances, like I can't think of a game where we quit. So that's a testament to those guys.
Tim Alcorn, Cavs Radio, DJV.
What's up, Tim?
Circling back to the game tonight, Dallas really seems to have hit their stride. They're not the same team that you saw 4 months ago at their place. What do you see that has changed? Why are they playing so well now?
I think, they figured out offensively how to control the tempo and control the pace of the game, which allows them to settle in on the defensive end of the floor. They're not playing much like, fast and up and down and quick pace. Like, they control the tempo. They know where their shots are coming from. Their guys don't turn it over a ton where you get out on the broken floor. So you're playing against a set defense most of the night. And that's where the biggest improvement has come, is in their defense. You look at it, schematically, and the individuals that are taking the challenges, and they make it difficult on you on that end.
And that's the basic question. How do you defend? How do you plan against Luka?
It's tough, but what you have to do is just make it as difficult as possible. And it's not a one-man job. You got to have somebody obviously on him that's going to be dogged, make his catches tough, pressure him, be physical with him without fouling. But then the other four guys on the floor have to be in positions to help you and really understand what he's trying to do. He plays the game, thoughtfully and one step ahead, but, he's got tendencies as well. So you just want to look at those and try to take those away best you can.
Callie Kaplan with the Dallas Morning News. I'm curious about that. What tendencies do you recognize from him? Because I know he prides himself in trying to be creative and trying to be as unknowable as possible, if you will. But what are you able to pick up from his game?
I'll wait on that one. Yeah, we can talk about that post game if you like. But, no, the great ones, as great as they all have tails, and you just have to be able to recognize them. And again, sometimes with the guys as good as he is, you can recognize it all you want, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, we'll try our best, and make it as difficult as we can.
He's almost a completely different player or version of himself on the court than he was last time you guys played him, like 4 months ago. What specifically have you noticed that's changed in his game or changed in the way he approaches things that's made him so prolific over these last several weeks?
I don't, and it's different, but this is who we've always seen him to be. I think, the Olympics and all that stuff and years previous, like, he's a great player. And I think he's just back in form. He talked about, the early struggles and those things. So I'll leave that, to him. But this is the player that, we expect Luka to be and who he's proven to be over time.